Today I'm going to be doing another episode of yapping here with you guys. I'm going to wait a little bit for this to load. Essentially, today I'm going to be talking about dolls in 2025. Now, I know that I do want to make podcast topics about, I want to make podcasts with themes that are not the typical stuff that I talk about on my channel. However, I do kind of want to start with these typical themes that you would usually see from me, just because I do feel like it's my comfort zone. I want to start there in somewhere that I'm more comfortable with, a theme that I'm more familiar with, before I delve into talking about something a little bit different for myself. Yeah, so I just thought I would chat with you guys for a little bit this evening about dolls, especially in 2025. And I'll talk about like myself as well as a doll collector, and what I'm interested in from the future of dolls, and a little bit of the past of dolls as well. I'll just kind of go about a doll rant, but a 2025 edition, because I want to talk specifically about the things that are coming out and the scene at the moment. Yeah, let's get started. I guess I'll talk about Barbie first, because I'm looking at my hoodie and it's a Barbie hoodie. You know what? I had Barbies as a kid, but I didn't really like them as a kid. We didn't have, my mom was very smart with her money, and she actually never wanted me to miss out. And so she thrifted a box full of Barbies when I was young, and they smelled so weird. I'm someone who's very sensitive to scents, and I like something to smell nice or like nothing. And these Barbies, they smell well used, like not in a malodorous kind of way, but they just smell like they were from other people had used them. I don't know, they weren't fresh, they weren't mine. I just never liked these Barbies. Every time, I can even remember as a child, every time I played with these Barbies, I would make sure to wash my hands after touching the Barbies, because they were like, they smell a certain way. My mum probably washed them. I just want to brush my hair a bit. My mum probably washed them when we got them. Like, I mean, I was very young at this time, but I don't imagine that she would have just like gotten them from the thrift store and directly given them to me. In fact, I have a vague memory of washing the dolls' clothes. So we probably sat down together and washed all these dolls together before she let me play with them. But I just remember her buying this bag of Barbies from an op shop, having this whole box of Barbies, and they just always had this scent. So Barbie was never my favorite growing up, to be honest. Even though I think she's a pop culture icon and I love Barbie now, I just couldn't get around her because she smelled funny. But I always wanted Barbies regardless when we went to the stores, because I wanted new Barbies. I wanted Barbies of my own that hadn't been played with other kids before. I wanted Barbies that I chose from the shops, that were new, that weren't wearing the most 80s and 90s outfits you've ever seen. These Barbies were probably from like the 90s, because I was born in 99. So these are probably Barbies from the 90s if I'm playing with them in the 2000s and they're in an op shop. Right. And so, yeah, they were in like the most 80s and 90s outfits, like really, really different vibes to what was popular in the 2000s. And so I wanted hip, cool Barbie that was in the store, Barbie that my friends were playing with. But my Barbies were from the 90s, and my Barbies smelled funky. So yeah, I just couldn't get around it. I did get my favorite Barbie that I had as a child was a gift from my parents. For one of my birthdays, I had a Barbie mermaid birthday cake, and sitting on top of the cake was a Barbie mermaid. Oh my goodness. She is like, if I was to buy one Barbie, and Barbies cost nothing, this is the doll I would buy. She was one with a silicone tail, or like one of those like rubberized tails. I'm trying to remember what she was called off the top of my head. I've found her before. Canadensis, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she makes videos, and she's like a doll content creator here on YouTube. You probably follow her if you follow me, because I'm way down further the line. If you're following her, I'm like way further down the doll discussion chain. But she's shown the doll that I had as a child on her channel multiple times. I just can't think of the name right now. It's kind of like one of the pink Barbies from the Fairytopia line that was a mermaid with a detachable tail. The issue with repurchasing that Barbie these days is, one, she's so expensive because time has passed and those Barbies cost an arm and a leg now. And the second thing is, okay, because the tail is made of this like not very long-standing kind of perishable, I'm guessing like rubbery material, a lot of the knee joints on these Barbies have ripped. And so the knee of where the tail flips is split open on many Barbies these days. My Barbie, the one that was a mermaid, that was my own when I was a child, I gave it to my cousin when when I was growing up, because, you know, then she could enjoy the Barbie. However, when I went back to her house one time, I saw the Barbie again and I was shocked. She'd, I think she'd drawn on it, which I was very upset by, but you know, she's a kid. But I didn't ever draw on my toys like that as a kid. I was very like, I don't know, I wanted to keep them nice and stuff. And so she drew on it and I was really sad by that. And also the tail had been ripped. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, did she rip the tail? Oh, my poor Barbie. Oh, well, like, you know, that's life. But it did make me really sad at the time. But now that I'm an adult, I've seen that Barbie online being sold multiple times. And even some of them that are new in box have a rip in the tail as the material deteriorates, which is really sad because, you know, it's like something I'd love to have and keep in pristine condition forever. However, the reality is this Barbie is just not made to last, I don't know, 20 years at this point. So bit sad, but yeah, she's one of the mermaid Barbies. She is like my favorite childhood Barbie that I had. I definitely enjoyed watching all the Barbie movies growing up, and I still do. Anytime me and my bestie get together, we be watching Barbie marathons on the TV. Yeah, I love watching all the classics. I would say my top favorites would be the Nutcracker, Fairytopia, and Nutcracker, Fairytale. I'm gonna say my third favorite would be Swan Lake. I actually watched Swan Lake, Princess and Pauper, and Rapunzel the most. Those were my like three that I would watch over and over as a child. I actually never watched the Nutcracker till I was an adult. However, now that I'm an adult, I love the Nutcracker. I love that so much. It's like a dream of mine to go and see that performed, like the ballet performed live at like the Opera House one day, because I live in Sydney, so it's not like unreasonable for me to imagine seeing a ballet at the Opera House. It's just that every single year when it's Christmas time, it's always sold out, so I never make it, which is kind of sad. But yeah, it's kind of hard to get tickets, so I need to be a bit more like proactive. Maybe this year in September I'll see. But they do different like, you know, ballets at the Opera House all the time, so I just need to keep my eyes out. I'm sure it will happen in my lifetime, but just putting it out there into the universe. It's my dream to see the Nutcracker at Christmas time at the Opera House live. Amazing. Anyway, the Nutcracker is just so beautiful, but I think that also, I really like the aesthetics of the Nutcracker, the way that Barbie portrayed them. I really like how like gorgeous and dainty it all is, and I love her outfits. I feel like her outfits are the best Barbie outfits out of all the Barbies. Controversial, out of all the Barbie movies, I think that the Nutcracker has the best outfits. And I love like the vibes, and I love Eric in it. He's so lovely, and yeah, everything about that one really perfect in my mind. And I love the rat. Oh my gosh, I love watching this movie with my best friend because we love the Rat King. The Rat King is hilarious, and I don't know, he's just like so iconic, and so I love laughing about him and Pim together. The other movies that I watched more when I was a child, they're still iconic. Like I like Rapunzel and stuff. It's not one that I've actually watched as much now that I'm an adult though. I don't really know why. It's not like a bad movie or anything. I just don't really like, you know what we should watch? Rapunzel. I should watch Rapunzel with my best friend though. I feel like we've both watched it individually, but we haven't watched Rapunzel together. So maybe we should like deep dive it together, because the dragon's pretty iconic, and so is that ferret. So I think it would be lots of fun. I really love Swan Lake, the Barbie version. I think it's really gorgeous. I think the theme of the Barbie movies that they came out was so classic, and they had such strong like moral beliefs and stuff in them. Like Barbie always stands up for the right thing. I feel like Barbie is such like a strong independent woman in them, even though she is portrayed as like so feminine and so like dainty and lovely, and like I don't know, so like not dainty in like a small way, but she's so bling ding ding, like it's so like magical, yet she's so strong and always takes the higher ground and makes them, like in my opinion, the morally correct choices. Maybe this is where my sense of justice has come from, but I really like the kind of values portrayed in the OG Barbie movies, and I really like that they chose these classic stories to tell them through. The dialogue is really good as well. The voice actors all do a good job. Like these are just such well-made movies in my opinion, especially for the time and for what they were. Like I believe these probably came straight to physical copy. These wouldn't have been shown in a cinema or anything. These would be like sold in the DVD in the stores. So it's just like amazing how much like they've stood the test of time, and so many people love and appreciate them today. Anyway, going back to the Swan Lake. You know what scares me in Swan Lake is the villains in Swan Lake are so scary. Not really Odette or her father, but more like there's like this worm scene. I can't really remember it off the top of my head, but there's this scene with a worm. I hate that. Oh my gosh, I don't really hate bugs, but I think I'm a little bit scared of worms. Something about it, I feel like, I don't know, something about it's not for me. I think that a worm would be a little bit more scary than a spider, in my opinion. Even though spiders are a lot faster, and there are way more spiders that I see here in Australia than I'm seeing worms. But where did all the worms go? Worms are important for the ecosystem, so I feel like I should be seeing more worms. Maybe I'm not digging in the garden enough. Anyway, so yeah, I like the outfits in Swan Lake as well. When I was a kid, when we went to Taiwan, my parents got me a set of Barbie crowns, and they were like the crowns from Swan Lake, and I remember dressing up in those, and those were like, I loved them. The Swan Lake outfits are also really, really pretty. However, I kind of wish that Odette had a more similar outfit to Barbie's outfit in the movie. I just love like the same but different vibes, which I'll talk about in Fairytopia and Princess and the Pauper, of course. But I just wish that Odette paralleled Barbie a little bit more in that movie. Like Odette's dancing in a dress, and then when it cuts to Barbie dancing in the same dress, you know, in that like scene where she's tricking the prince and dancing with him. I wish that the dress that Odette was actually wearing was a darker version of Barbie's dress. I just wish that, I don't know, Odette didn't have to be portrayed so differently to Barbie. I would have liked it if there was a little bit more mirroring there. That is such, like, who cares, Emily? But I don't know. I like the idea of like the Black Swan being a little bit more slay than Odette was in the movie. The voice actor of Odette is Janice in Friends, and you can so tell she does such a good job. I love how like, Daddy, like, I don't know, I can't really do it as good as she does, but she is cackling in that movie. She's a great voice actor. She really goes for it. I think she did a great job. Anyway, let's talk about my faves. Fairytopia is such a classic. Obviously, I had a mermaid that was from the Fairytopia line. It's just like, I don't know, a perfect rainbow. All the fairies line up and they're all like, that really satisfies me. I love it when and my best friend agrees with me on this, I love it when everyone's wearing the same thing but in their own color, like same but different, and it suits all of them, and they all have like slight differences about them, but they're all united as well. That really satisfies me. So Fairytopia really ticks that box. I also like that Eleanor in the movie is like, she's so it. Like, she's got the pink, she's got the rainbow, she's got everything going for her. You just have to root for her. And even in the sequels from that movie, like Barbie Fairytopia goes into Barbie Mermaidia. I love mermaids. Mermaids are like my favorite thing. So like having the mermaid theme going on, love that so much as well. This is becoming a bit of a Barbie movie rant. It's all right. We'll come back to dolls later. All right. Maybe I will just rename this a Barbie podcast if I talk too long about just Barbie. It might be. Going back, yeah, the dolls that came out of Fairytopia, absolutely gorgeous. Not just the mermaid doll that I had, but also they had other fairy dolls as well that were really, really pretty as well. I just think that there's so much like to be appreciated about Fairytopia. I think Bibble's a really, really good companion. I think that, yeah, I just love Fairytopia. Same goes for Princess and the Pauper. That's probably my second favorite. Official ranking, Nutcracker, Princess and the Pauper, and then Fairytopia. Princess and the Pauper is such a classic. Two best friends, twins for life. The vibes, the songs, the music in, classic. Love the music. I think the music in Princess and the Pauper is so impressive. They came up with all those bobs because they're actually bangers. I listen to them all the time, even now. I like that they came up with like Barbie, Princess and the Pop Star more recently, duping off Princess and the Pauper. I think that's cute, but Princess and the Pauper will always reign supreme. I'm not anti the Princess and the Pop Star. I think it's cute and it's like a bit of a modern take, but the Pop Star one, it just doesn't hit as well. I do like it, but it's just, yeah, I love that it's pink and blue. They're both so pretty in terms of colors. I love that they have matching outfits. I love all the songs together. I love when Erica is singing that song to her cat in the bathtub, and she's like, there's not a single hair on you that I would rearrange. Oh, it's so gorgeous. That scene is so beautiful. To be a princess, they're just the best. So yeah, I'm so passionate about that movie. It's just such a good movie. You can watch it a million times and enjoy it every single time. I made my boyfriend watch a couple of Barbie movies. We haven't watched all of them together just because that's a lot of movies, but we have definitely watched the Nutcracker and the Princess and the Pauper together. And I needed him to watch the Princess and the Pauper because I reference How could I refuse all the time? I know I'm not a singer. It's not my asset, but who cares? Yeah, I just love when Preminger is like, he's so sassy. I love him as a villain. He's a great villain. I love how he's so like, he's just so evil and he's so selfish. And I love his songs and I love his silly, goofy henchman. And yeah, everything about it is like a 10. 10s all around. Yeah, that's my Barbie movie rant. Going on to later on, when Barbie came out with Life in the Dream House, I love Life in the Dream House. I think it's really, really good. I watched it when I was a kid on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's even still on YouTube, to be honest. Like maybe it's on Netflix or something like that now, but it was really funny. I did like exploring more of the Barbie characters because at this time that Barbie Life in the Dream House came out, I was getting a little bit more into the wider universe of Barbie rather than Barbie as just like a 2001 to 2009 kind of concept. I was more interested in Barbie as an overall whole. And so I liked all the like little Easter eggs they put in for like the doll fans. And like objectively, it was a fun little show to watch without it being like a whole movie. I just think it was really cute. Also, I was surprised when I was in high school, I was watching this. And obviously because I'm a doll person, like I'm still I'm a 25-year-old at this point, and I'm still into dolls. So like I didn't expect my friend who wasn't into dolls to be watching Barbie Life in the Dream House. And when I found out one of my friends who isn't even a doll person, she's just like, I'm gonna say a normal person, but like a non-doll person, was also watching Barbie Life in the Dream House, it made me really, really happy. So I was like, oh my gosh. Not like I'm not lame, but like I don't know, I felt like a little bit childish watching those things, but I'd still do it in my spare time because it's what I enjoy. And to find out that one of my friends that wasn't even into dolls was watching that as well, I was like, oh, that's really lovely. Yeah, I think that all the outfits that they were wearing were so them. I love when Midge came along. There's just so many iconic moments. I don't think that the Barbie movies that they make these days really interest me in the same way. After Barbie Life in the Dream House, that's probably when like the fun ended for me. I can even handle like some of the later on ones, like this is probably nostalgic to some people, but it came a little bit later in my timeline. So things like Barbie the Island Princess, that's a little bit less top tier than the original like Nutcracker, Princess and the Pauper, those like golden. Whereas as we went on, I feel like they deteriorated in time. I think that the Nutcracker was the first Barbie movie that came out, and I feel like that is like the gold standard. Whereas like as time went on, I feel like I don't like them more and more through time. I still like Princess Charm School and Princess and the Pop Star. They're still good movies, but the movies after probably about Life in the Dream House, after that kind of ended, I don't think that I liked the movies quite as much after that time. The ones that they're coming out with right now, there's an astronaut one that I saw like a trailer for. It just doesn't interest me in the same way until this brings me to the Barbie movie. Now, I've always been a Barbie girl. I've always been into dolls, into this kind of like stuff. And so when I heard there was a Barbie movie coming out and Margot Robbie was going to be in it, I was stoked. There was no way that I wasn't going to enjoy this movie. Let's be so for real. I love dolls. I love Margot Robbie, she's a slayer, and a movie about it that's marketed towards, I guess, all ages. It was always going to hit for me, but I loved the Barbie movie itself. I think that anyone that doesn't enjoy it, you miss the point. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I love the outfits. I think Margot Robbie did an amazing job. I also think of the time that the Barbie movie came out as such a wonderful time in my life. It was probably one of the happiest times that I have ever been in my whole life because of like where I was in my life at that stage. I was just so happy and so free, and I just think back on the time that the Barbie movie came out really fondly. And also, as someone who collects dolls and appreciates the doll collecting scene, I loved when the Barbie movie came out for the merch. This hoodie came out back then because, you know, everyone was jumping on the Barbie collab train. Everyone was collabing with Barbie. So all my stuff that I have that's like Barbie is from this era, and I appreciate that because I love Barbie, and all of a sudden something I love was so accessible. So I love that everything's Barbie these days because she kind of like had a big boom, and as a pink Barbie girl, I appreciated the boom. I don't feel like I have too much more to say about the actual Barbie movie itself. I think that it was fun to see new people be introduced to the doll scene through Barbie and reconnect, and it was amazing to hear all the discourse about people's stories with their dolls and like girlhood and what this all meant for them. I really liked what it meant for feminism in the scene at that time. And yeah, I think that people that dislike the movie miss the point, but I know a lot of people, even some of my friends, didn't like the movie, and that's, you know, everyone has their own opinions, but I liked it. I think it did a good job. And I mean, like, let's be real, I was a little bit biased anyway. I was always going to enjoy a, like, modern Barbie movie that was marketed towards someone like myself or whatever. That has a very short bit of hair at the front there. I hope it grows. I guess it's my bangs. Do I have one on the other side? Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe it's not so bad. Anyway, let's go back to talking about the dolls themselves. Honestly, I don't think that Barbie or Mattel in general is creating dolls that are appealing to me at the moment. They're just not creating concepts that I want. So I never really, I'm like, oh, a new Barbie came out. It just never really happens. The Barbie dolls that I have, I actually don't have that many. I think I only have, I want to say 2. I have one made to move Barbie that I customized with a fashionista. When the made to move Barbies came out, and around that time the fashionistas came out that were from that same year, I saw the Leah sculpt for the first time, and I was absolutely like amazed. She's an Asian Barbie. I didn't have any Asian Barbies growing up. Keep in mind, I'm coming from having like a bag of Barbies from a thrift store. They're all blonde from the 90s, and I just didn't see any Barbies that looked like me. And then I saw the Leah sculpt, and I know there were Asian Barbies previously, but I hadn't seen them. And so when I saw these Asian Barbies for the first time, I felt so represented. I was absolutely over the moon. She was me. The Leah sculpt that came out on the original Made to Move, often known as Purple Top Made to Move, I was like, oh my goodness. And then from the Fashionistas line, there was an Asian doll, so with the same Leah sculpt and a very similar screening, just with a different lip color, who had brown hair, and I was over the moon. I'd never seen such a beautiful doll that I felt represented in. So I did a head swap. I put the fashionista head on the Made to Move body, and now I have a little like mini me. She's so cute. She's got brown hair. My hair is naturally brown, even though I'm orange right now. I just dyed. But yeah, she represents me. She's wearing a little cheerleading uniform. I made her a little outfit, and I think there's a video up on my channel about like making my mini me Barbie. But she's such like a treasured doll to me, not only because, you know, she's me and she's cute and she's wearing her little ACU outfit that is like a little cheer outfit, but also just like seeing myself represented in a doll in that way, especially not only seeing an Asian doll that is with black hair and is like a, I don't want to say like, yeah, more stereotypical idea of an East Asian person, but like one with brown hair as well, which I felt like she represented me as a mixed race person. I felt like was so, I don't know, I felt so seen. So thank you, Mattel, for coming up with her. I think she's great. Later on, I bleached my hair blonde, and I was shopping again, and I kind of wanted to get a little nurse Barbie because I am a nurse. And they came out with a careers line, I think same-ish time that the Barbie movie came out, around then. They came out with a careers line. There was a petite height doll. She's wearing a little like paramedic outfit. She's wearing boots. She has a little like, I think it's a stethoscope that she comes with, and she's like a model muse pose. So she's not like got all this articulation and stuff, but she's just got like a model muse pose. And she's a little bit more tan and a little bit like, she's blonde, like a warmer, darker blonde. And she was so me at that time that the Barbie movie came out. I was very tan because I've been doing a lot of travel to like island locations. And my hair was bleached blonde at that time. And I just started working as a nurse, and I saw this like paramedic Barbie, and I was like, she's me. So she's my other Barbie that I have, and I love her so much. I think she's really, really gorgeous. I love her face because she has like a more Asian face. But something about her face is a little bit more, like you could translate it in different ways. To me, I see her and she looks like me. I think she looks more Asian, but I don't know, you could interpret her as other ethnicities as well. She is blonde. She could be, I don't know, whatever ethnicity you want to interpret her to be, whatever. She's a doll. But when I saw her, I was like, this doll is me. I still haven't sewn her a pair of scrubs. I have some navy cotton fabric that I've been meaning to sew into a set of scrubs for her, and then she'll truly be complete, because right now she's just wearing like a little like hot pink Chanel outfit. It's because I didn't want to keep her in the paramedic outfit. And this is another reason, actually, I'll go back into this, but the outfit she came in is genuinely so cheap. But I bought her for the doll itself, and I like her pose, and I like her screening, and I like her hair, so everything about it lined up. And the actual plastic molded items that came with her, which is the boots and the little bag and the stethoscope, those are all nice pieces that I would want to use once I put her in a set of blue scrubs. She can happily wear the stethoscope and the shoes, and they'll suit her vibe. So I do think that it was a worthwhile purchase, and she was so cheap. Barbies aren't that expensive, at least if you're going to buy like you know, a basic Barbie like this. But the thing is with these basic Barbies that are not that expensive, the fabric on them is so cheap. Literally, I am so sick of the printed, is it screen printed? It's not even, it's like sublimated fabric that they're using. With like the one piece, or the pants are like attached to the top, and they just Velcro in the back. I'm not against a little Velcro in the back outfit, but the lack of different textures really leaves something to be desired. And I think this is another reason why current Barbies, especially like the fashionistas, really fall short for me. Fashionistas has gone from like an outfit line that is interesting and has like different variation in like style in it, to just like a line of essentially core basic Barbies that are very cheap, very cheaply made. Yes, they're affordable to buy as well, but they're so cheaply made, and they're not that affordable considering how the doll is. Like the doll itself, we've got the pixelated eyes. I'm going to dig into Mattel here. We've got the pixelated eyes. We have the sublimated, like printed outfit. So it's a dress that's like so simply cut with all the patterns and designs. No buttons are actually sewn on. They're all just printed. I just think it's so cheap. And so I feel like that's really what's turned me off modern Barbie as of late. Not that I'm anti-Barbie in any way. Obviously, as you can tell, I love Barbie. I love her as a pop culture icon and as a concept, and I appreciate buying all her collabs and stuff. But the current like main line dolls that they're coming out with do leave something to be desired. I do like the direction that the company has gone with in terms of like as we become a little bit more open to women in jobs and careers. I like how Barbie's progressed with that, and kind of like the movie touches on that kind of stuff. But I like the direction that the movie has shown Barbie to be, and I like that Barbie's going in this more future direction for women. But I just think that the quality needs to match that, because otherwise it's just a concept. It needs to be executed in a certain way with a certain degree of quality that's more exciting than what they're coming out with right now. I do think that they have exciting collector dolls and stuff, but then again, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Mattel when it comes to these collector releases, and I still think that nothing's calling to me from the Barbie collector lines. Nothing is, you know, making me go, ooh, I must get that. There's still something to be desired. I do have one Barbie collector doll, and she is Margot Robbie as Barbie from the Barbie movie in the cowgirl outfit. I just think it's the most iconic outfit from the movie, in my opinion. Me and my best friend bought her for each other for, I think it was our birthdays the year that Barbie came out, or maybe we got it for each other for Christmas. That was such a hard Barbie to get our hands on. We both wanted her, and then we waited instead of just like jumping as soon as she was available, and she was sold out so quickly, and we waited and waited, and she eventually finally came back into stock. We literally jumped when she came back into stock because we're like, we're not going to miss her again. And I'm so excited to have her. She's so gorgeous. She stays in box. Most of my other two Barbies, they're like my mini-me's, the like cheer one and the nurse one, they're both out of box, but my cowgirl Barbie, she will stay in box, and I love the way she's presented in the box. I'm someone who only takes the dolls out of the box if I think they're going to look better out of the box. If I think they're going to look better presented in the box, I'm going to leave them in the box. And this is one of those Barbies where I just think the design of the box, the way she's sitting in it, like standing in it, I should say, it's reminiscent of the movie, number one, and secondly, I just think it's really iconic packaging. So I just think she looks better in the box. So I will be leaving her in the box. I don't expect to ever take her out. I think my best friend may have taken hers out of the box. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I prefer mine in box. I remember also at that time in like, I think it was 2023 now, all my friends were getting me Barbie things as gifts when it was my birthday time. I had such a Barbie birthday. Thanks everyone. That was such like a wonderful time. Anyway, I think that's all I have to really say about Miss Barbie herself. I guess, should I talk about like some other Mattel concepts? Should I talk about Monster High? I want to talk one more thing about Barbie. Excuse me. I do think that Barbie has good classic playsets. I think that the vintage playsets that they came out with back in the day with like the house that everyone had, they're way more timeless. However, I still think that Barbie Dream House is probably really fun and exciting for kids to receive to this day. So I think the actual like molded pieces that Barbie's coming out with are still fun. I really like the articulation improvement in Barbies, especially the Made to Move line. It's just like my favorite line. When Made to Move first came out, I was absolutely obsessed. I was taking my doll with me to like school all the time. I would take her everywhere. I just really love like the tactile aspect of like playing with that doll. So I really like enjoy the whole Made to Move line, and I'm always tempted to buy more, but I shouldn't. The Made to Move line is probably the most interesting line to me from Barbie at this stage. So if I was to get more dolls, maybe more made to moves, but I really don't need more Barbies because I do feel satisfied by my collection as it stands right now. If I was to get more Barbies, it would probably be actually saving up for those vintage Barbies that are from the early 2000s. The ones from the Nutcracker and the Princess and the Pauper line are probably my favorite from the original like movies. In terms of dolls, the Fairytopia Barbies are really pretty. I do think they look nice. However, there is a classic regal vibe from the Nutcracker and from the Princess and the Pauper dolls that really speaks to me. And if they weren't so expensive, I would totally go for it. But they're so expensive. They cost an arm and a leg. And yeah, they're so gorgeous. That Erica doll, the Annalise doll from the Princess and the Pauper, they're so, so pretty. Even the wedding dolls, they're absolutely gorgeous. I kind of remember seeing them in stores when I was a kid, to be honest. I don't remember seeing the Nutcracker doll in stores, but it's probably because at that stage I was very, very young. When it first came out, that came out in 2001. I would have been 2, so, you know, that's probably why I don't remember. But I think it was very smart of them to create these movies and then sell the dolls to go with the movies. So, yeah, I think that they should re-release them. They had the 20th anniversary of the Nutcracker recently, and they released a doll, and it was not the original doll. They should re-release the original Nutcracker doll. That would do so well for, like, especially, they should have done it like 4 years ago. I feel like in COVID and like in the Barbie movie coming out, like that period of time, like 4 years ago, they should have re-released that doll. It would have boomed. It would have sold out so quick. And there are so many collectors that kind of jump back into the scene in COVID, I feel. Like all the doll groups on Facebook, it was all booming. And I feel like they should hop on this like peak that they're at in the doll world right now, before, you know, I feel like the doll world comes in waves and we're in a doll era right now. I think we're going down a little bit right now. Like the doll peaked in like in COVID, and when the Barbie movie came out, that was like the peak of like the doll collecting fad, I should say. I don't know, it's a bit of a phase for some people, I believe, and I think that it's going to go down a little bit. I don't think that everyone is in this for the long term of collecting. I think that some people are just like excited about it at the moment, and I'm not saying that's wrong or anything. It's really exciting to connect with your childhood or like, you know, fashion or dolls or whatever you're collecting them for. It's fun to like lean into it for different reasons, but I just think that this is like a peak, and I think that the hype is going to go down eventually. So I think they should re-release those early classic 2000s dolls that everyone wants and they're so expensive. Re-release them. They would make so much more money than releasing like a variant of the Nutcracker doll that was never in the movie, doesn't look like any of the things that I remember from the 2000s. They should have just re-released the OG doll, and I would have snapped that up and release it, Mattel, and release the Princess and the Pauper 2. Please, Mattel, please, 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 please. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I actually have to say about Barbie. Moving on, let's discuss Monster High. I think I'm going to make this a Mattel video because I've discussed Barbie so much in depth. I think I'll have to make a part 2 to discuss MGA, Bratz pretty much, but also Lala Loopsy because that's another doll line I collect. And I'll talk about some other randoms in that as well. I feel like Barbie, there's so much lore because it's so nostalgic to so many people, and it's such, I feel like it is the doll. Like, let's be real. Barbie is that doll. She's the pop culture icon. So I feel like there was a lot to say about Barbie that I wasn't expecting to go on about, but oh well. Let's talk about Monster High. So Monster High obviously came out quite a bit after Barbie, which is more of a recent line. I was a fan from Monster High from the start. I discovered Monster High through, I think, their website. I don't know how I even found it. It must have been from watching YouTube videos and then searching up the website. I was obsessed with that website. I was studying it every single day, all the dolls, all of their bios. I love the artwork from the original G1. I just think the artwork looks really, really pretty, and I would obsess over every single line and stuff. I was a little bit too old for dolls at this point, which was probably alluding to the fact that I'd be a doll collector later on, because I was in high school. I would have been in year 7 and 8 at this time, and I was obsessed with them. That's a little bit older than I think the dolls are typically marketed towards. None of the other girls in my grade, at least I was openly speaking about this too, were into these dolls in this way. Obviously I would tell my friends that I was into it, but like they weren't reciprocating the same obsession that I was. And so like I was a bit older for it, yet I was still so drawn to like everything about Monster High, particularly the core signature dolls. There were dolls later on that I thought were cool. Like I really like I like a more casual doll. I think so. A lot of the like slumber party lines really appeal to me, or like the sporty themed lines. I just feel like they're more relatable, more real. Whereas like Dot Dead Gorgeous Drop Dead Gorgeous, sorry. It's kind of a little bit too out there for me. I didn't really like vibe with it as much. There are some gorgeous dolls in that line, don't get me wrong, but like Great Scary Reef, that kind of thing, it's a little bit too beyond for me. Whereas the core dolls, it was kind of like meeting the dolls for the first time. In the sports lines, it's kind of like this is them as their cheer selves, or the sleepover ones, it's like this is what they look like. It's kind of like seeing them. Whereas like the costumes, it seemed a bit, I don't know, it just doesn't vibe with me as much. The signature dolls from Monster High, from G1, 10 out of 10. They were so good, especially OG6, but even building on from that, there are so many dolls that I am obsessed with that I'm like, oh, who is me? Like, who am I in the Monster High universe? I associate so much with her. I really resonate with her, and like Venus McFlytrap, I really love Venus flytraps. They're like literally my favorite plant, and she represents that, and she's like really like punk and into nature, and I love all her vibes. But then also I love the vibes of Dracula. She's so cutesy and pink. She's just a little, like a pink girly pop vibe. I love her energy. And she's a vegetarian. She's just like me. But then, you know, you see Claudine and I'm like, oh, I love Claudine's fashion and I love her hair. And she's just such an icon. And I love her style. Clear now, she's kind of got like a more of skin tone. Maybe she's a bit more like me because I'm a human. She looks a bit more human compared to the rest of them. And, you know, she's kind of got like darker hair, and I had brown hair at this time. And I don't know, I associated so strongly with so many of the characters in Monster High. I couldn't tell you who my fave is specifically. Laguna was Australian back in G1, so Laguna was also me, and I love a mermaid theme, obviously. Mermaids are my thing, so like, you know, if they'd come out with like a mermaid doll that was a skin tone that had like brown hair, I would have... The Madison Fear doll. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, there were so many dolls that they come out with that I was so obsessed with. So I loved watching other people unbox their Monster High dolls online. I was a little bit too old for it, and also I didn't have the money at that time. I was a child, so I didn't have the money to buy Monster High for myself. Because, you know, you're 12. I can't collect the whole thing begging my mum and dad. They just weren't going to do that for me. And I didn't have a job at this time. Maybe I could have worked babysitting jobs, but I just felt like it was so... there was so many dolls that were coming out, and it was so endless, and it was so expensive from like my perspective as a 12-year-old. It was just so unattainable. So it was something that happened way later on for me, was collecting Monster High. I just kind of loved them from afar when I was younger. I would obsess over the website. I would watch people unbox them on YouTube, and I would also watch the webisodes. The webisodes are so good. I love the Monster High webisodes. The era when Monster High webisodes were coming out, and the Bratzilla's webisodes were coming out, and there was Novi Stars, and there was Barbie Life in the Dream House. YouTube was so good to our doll community. I loved that era. I still go back and watch the webisodes. I actually have not, however, watched all of the Monster High movies, which is something I totally should do because I think that I would enjoy them. I don't think that the graphics and design are as good as the webisodes. There's something about the cartoon aspect of the webisodes that I really, really enjoy, but I still think that I would enjoy the movie, so I should get around to doing that, honestly, because I think that'd be a lot of fun, and it'd be like a treat because it's literally from that era of G1, and I haven't consumed that media yet, so it'd be exciting. I think it's really cute that Dracula was a huge hit in Japan as well, so I'd love to see some more of the Japanese Dracula content. I think there was an anime or something they came out with. I should search into that more, but yeah, the media that came out with Monster High was like a 10 out of 10. I really like the message. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's too gothic, or it's too spooky, or I don't know, whatever they thought. I didn't like the backlash. I'm pro Monster High, so yeah, I really enjoyed G1. When G2 came out, I was kind of lapsing in my interest in Monster High in general because some of the like later dolls didn't like capture my attention the way that like the OGs did. And that goes for G1 as well. I think the G2 was cheap and I have barely any interest in it. However, I do have Zombie Gaga, and I think that she could be considered a G2 doll. I don't know, Zombie Gaga's kind of in a realm of her own. I'm obsessed with her. I actually got her on Facebook Marketplace. If you're wondering where I prefer to get dolls, Facebook Marketplace and Facebook doll community groups, I think are the best one. Always pay with PayPal so you can get your money back if they scam you, because people do be scamming, especially in those dolls groups. But the Lady Gaga doll that I got on Facebook Marketplace, hands down to this day, is my best doll find that I ever found. I think I paid $14 for her, and she's wearing her suit. She's not with all her accessories. She came with the wrong hands, and I had to give her some random hands to replace them. But she's perfect to me. I love Zombie Gaga. I got Lady Gaga tickets to her concert at the end of the year, and I think I should take my Lady Gaga doll with me and take a picture of the doll at the concert. Maybe. I might not, because she's very precious to me. Anyway, that's enough about Zoe Gaga, my fave, my grail. She's such a grail. When she first came out, I was like, wow, that is the perfect doll. But like, I just wasn't buying dolls like that back then. I also didn't have the space. I was like, you know, living with my parents and stuff. Dolls take up a lot of space, and I really try and be selective because the more you buy, the more space they take up. And it's like, you never really, well, I don't really get rid of my dolls. I just collect more and more and more. And so it takes up a huge amount of space. I have a whole shelf just dedicated to dolls now, which is kind of like a bit excessive, but I love them. Let's talk more about Monster High. There are so many characters that I'm obsessed with. My favorites are Draculaura, Claudine, and Laguna. I just think that those three are like my holy grail. Frankie never really hit for me. I'm going to be honest. As much as I was like, oh, she's so me, she's so me, she's so me. Frankie was never in that like top holy grail. I prefer Venus McFlytrap over Frankie, even though she's like one of the OGs. I didn't hate her personality or anything in the like media or anything. I just didn't really connect with the character on like a personal level as much, and I didn't like her design as much. I think that she's really pretty though, don't get me wrong, but there's something about her that doesn't hit the same way as the other guys do for me. I like Cleo. I think Ghoulie is cute, but she's same with Frankie in that I never was like, that's so me. I think that Ghoulie is really, really cool though. I think I prefer her design a little bit more than Frankie's design. I'm talking about the signature dolls with the like lines that came after that. It's not as prominent to me. The OG is the OG. The signature, that's where it's at. Anyway, going on, I do think that also Rebecca Steam and, oh my gosh, I just remembered something else I want to talk about. Rebecca Steam and Rochelle Goyle were really pretty, but Rochelle Goyle kind of had a bit too many colors going on for me. This brings me to my other topic. I loved Flickr. Oh my gosh. At this time of my life, I loved Flickr for seeing people's dolls and seeing customizations. This is where I discovered one-of-a-kind dolls. It was from Flickr, and people were doing incredible things. I love the idea of creating a doll that is so customized, but in such a detailed and precise way that it looks like an actual doll that would be produced. So, what I mean by that is, as much as I appreciate dolls that have that really ethereal artistry kind of look about them, my favorite kind of one-of-a-kind dolls are kind of like the Madison Fear doll, where it's a doll that looks like it could be actually produced and like sold to the masses and like looks like it could be a Playline doll. I'm more of a Playline girl. Something about Playline is just like my preference. Maybe it's more nostalgic. Maybe I like the kind of aesthetic a bit more. But like there's some really beautiful artistry dolls. Don't get me wrong. There are some incredible artists out there doing amazing things, but there's just something about a doll that is more simple and classic in its design. And there were so many people doing things like that on Flickr. There was this one that was like, I saw a really, really beautiful one of Rochelle where she was kind of like a weeping angel. And I was really into Doctor Who and like weeping angels at this time. And I really like the idea of like Rochelle just as like a statue and with a much more stripped back color palette. So that's actually the first reroute that I ever did was of Rochelle Goyle, just rerouting her, removing her greasy pink hair. Oh my goodness. Monster High dolls have so much gunk in their hair. The glue head is crazy. I'll go back into that. But yeah, I've rerouted her with all white hair, and she is so like simple and minimalist, and just like appreciating the sculpt of the doll with the wings. So simple, so gorgeous. I really appreciate the attention to detail that Monster High does with their individual doll characters, designs, and sculpts. I think they do such an incredible job. But Rochelle, I feel like when you peel back all her layers of like the hair being all these different colors and the outfits being different colors, you can really appreciate Rochelle. I've been talking for so long. Rochelle for what she is, and it's just like good sculpting. And I love also the like mottled gray that they've given to give her a sandstone, like concretey stone kind of look. I just think she's gorgeous when she's like paired back like that. Glue head is so frustrating. The dolls that I like from Monster High are all from the glue head era, and I know that Mattel, I don't think they do this anymore. I'm pretty sure, I'm aware that they have changed the way that they do the glue for the dolls, so like future dolls won't get glue head like crazy. But even my Made to Move doll with the fashionista head stuck on top, I think she has a little bit of glue hair, which is fine, but it's not my preference. A couple years ago, I spent so much time going through all my dolls and removing all the glue from their hair, and I think it's probably all come back. It's so frustrating. I heard that GIF works really well. Well, I saw online the American version of GIF is what people are using on it. I didn't use GIF on my dolls when I was doing it. I was using like a glue gun kind of replacement that was available in Australia. But next time I remove glue from my doll's hair, I'm going to try GIF because I think that's really stripping, and like it has not only a physical but a chemical like de-gluer in it that I feel like will melt the glue out of the head. I also have a little bit of a fear when I'm de-gluing a doll that I'm going to make the hair fall out in chunks. When I was cleaning out that Rochelle's head, when I was re-rooting it, there was so much gunk inside her head. It was disgusting. She was literally so thick with glue. They're filling these dolls' heads with glue back then, which I'm thankful for that they don't do that now in G3. G2, I really don't have that much to say. Disappointing, cheap, not a lot going on. I'm not a G2 like absolute hater, but there's not much from G2 that I'm like, you know what was iconic? Like, it doesn't really happen for me. You know what I do kind of love though? G1 fashion packs. They were so fun. They should do some more fashion packs for G3. Let's talk about G3. There are a lot of G3 haters out there. And to be honest, at first I was a little skeptical as well. And then the more I saw, the more I enjoyed it. And you know what? I'm a G3 fan. I have not consumed any G3 media. I'll put that out there. I don't know anything about the they're not webisodes. They're on Nickelodeon. I don't know anything about the Nickelodeon show. I haven't really delved much into the what was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know much about the Nickelodeon show, and I don't really know much about the live action movie that came out, except for the fact that it looks a little chuggy to me. Sorry, guys. I don't know. It just doesn't really appeal. However, I really like G3. I think that it's taking some old concepts and refreshing them for a new generation. I like that they haven't dropped the ball on G1 and have continued to release G1 dolls, which I'll talk about in a bit. But I like that they are redressing Monster High for a younger audience, and I'm sure that all the tweaks that I'm not so happy about appeal more to that younger audience who they're trying to market towards. However, my only larger gripe with G3 is it's a bit too colorful. Like, it's become from like, I felt like Monster High and G1 was a really good theme, and they have all this like the colors and the tones all are really strategic to tie in together, and I just don't feel that same strategy with G3. I think that G3 looks a little bit more all over the place, and so it just doesn't strike as iconically with me the way that G1 did. I think Garrett Sander was a huge part of that in G1, and I do still like some of the modern G1 stuff that's coming out, but G3 is a bit too colorful for me in comparison. I do like some G3 dolls. I think I have 3 G3 dolls now. I have Signature Laguna, because she's Laguna. She's no longer Australian, which is fine. But I'd love to see some Australian representation, maybe inspired by the Indigenous culture in Australia. I think that would be a better way to create an Australian character. But, you know, I get that Laguna was like a surfer girl, and the original one especially it suited her. But I think that Laguna, the modern Laguna, is very pretty. And something about her when she came out, I was just like, yes, I'm going to buy her and redress her. I don't like what Signature Laguna's outfit she comes with is. I think it is not so nice. I redressed her, and she's now wearing like a combination of some Rainbow High clothes and some G1 Laguna clothes, because I just think it looks better. Yeah, I've redressed her, and I intend on redressing all of my G3 dolls. I think that is my direction with G3, is buying the doll and redressing it in a way until it hits for me. I also have Venus McFlytrap. Honestly, there's not a lot to change on Venus McFlytrap. I do want to play around a little bit with her and just try some different outfits and see if there's something that like is stronger for her than the outfit that she comes in. But I think that Venus is probably, out of my G3 dolls that I'm interested in, I think she's the strongest. The other G3 doll that I have is Jennifer Long, and I love the way they did Jennifer in G3. I think that her outfit is strong, her face is strong. I like all the changes that they made, and something about Jennifer in G3 also is her face looks so distinctly Asian in a way that I didn't really feel from G1. She looks like she could be, she just looks Asian. Something about the way they sculpted the face, it is so clearly Asian. I think it's a really cool way that they've done this representation while she's still got a green skin tone. Like, you wouldn't think an Asian person, green skin. But I see like facial features in her that are so clearly Asian that I didn't see in the original Jennifer. So I actually feel more, I don't know, represented by the newer Jennifer. I actually like her more. I have a video up of like each of these dolls if you want to see me unbox them and like go into them in detail. I'm just looking at my Jennifer right now. I do think my qualm with the new Jennifer is too many colors, but that was kind of my qualm with the original G1 Jennifer as well. Is she had a lot of colors going on in her color story, but she almost had like a bird-like face in the first one that didn't really click for me. I think that it was nice of them to change her from gold to green because of like, I think it was due to like yellow face fears. However, I don't think that they needed to do that. They could have left her gold. I liked the representation of Asians because I am Asian. I liked being gold. I liked being the gold character. I don't mind being the green character now, but there was something about Jennifer being gold that I was like, yeah. What else do I want to say about Jennifer? I think that each of the pieces she comes with is cute as well, and she's like one that I'm less inclined to redress, but I still will redress her. She's not as like to me as Laguna was. Laguna had too many neons. I'm not a neon girl. The neons in G3 go crazy. They are using bright colors everywhere. I think a more muted color scheme would make it a little bit more gothic or pull it together more, but hey, maybe the kids these days don't like that. I don't know. I still think there are like kids who are into alternative styles around who would enjoy that, but each their own. Yeah, there are also so many dolls that G3 is still coming out with that I think are gorgeous. I actually like the new Nevra more than the new Cleo. Cleo Denial is pretty in G3 and I think she looks nice. But there is something about the Nephra in G3 that I feel like is so gorgeous. Something about her face, the way her sculpt is, very, very pretty. Her outfit's nice too, but I will be redressing her 100% because I just think she's such a pretty doll and the opportunity to restyle her. My relationship with G1 is very like, keep it as it is, preserve it. I like this exact outfit and I want to keep her perfect forever. My approach with G3 is like, let's restyle. They're kind of dolls that I enjoy playing around with a bit more, and I like imagining and seeing other people's restyles and stuff. I'm a bit more playful when it comes to G3, maybe because they're not as like iconic to me in G3, that I feel like it's a little bit more for play and for fun, because I still appreciate G3's fun concepts and the design and the different things they're coming up with, but it's not as iconic to me, so I don't feel like I have to preserve it in the same way. Who else is coming out from G3? I feel like there's kind of like some fun characters coming up with from G3 that interest me more than the original ones. There's something about the original like signature Claudine from G3 that is so soft that she doesn't really resonate with me, which is surprising because Claudine is one of my favorites in the original series, but I just can't get around G3 Claudine in the same way. Same with Frankie. I like that they're now like so representative for non-binary people, and like the outfits reflect that. I think that is really cool, the way that Frankie shows like a kind of more androgynous style, and I think that they've done a lot of like research into making Monster High represent like a bunch of different groups, obviously. I really wish that the Phoenix character from the, I think it's from the Nickelodeon show, I really wanted that Phoenix character. I think she was representing like a trans character. I really wish she was real. I really wish, as in real as in I wish they'd made a doll of her. I would have snapped that doll up. She was really pretty, but what can you do? Please, Monster High, please bring out a Phoenix character. She was really pretty. Something else from G3 that interests me is the Draculaura birthday doll. Draculaura has a bunch of G3 dolls. She's kind of like the main girl, I feel. Even though I think that they were trying to make Claudine the main character for G3, I just think that they are pumping out those Draculaura dolls because pumping out the Draculaura dolls because so many girls love the pink, and I do too. But none of them have hit the same way as her most recent birthday doll has come out. I would love to have her G1 birthday doll, but I don't. Oh my gosh, for my 24th birthday, I had the Draculaura birthday cake. It cost me so much and I have no regrets. I was eating cake for days. It was so fun. But yeah, I love like a good Draculaura birthday. She's just like the girl. She's the girly girl. She's so pink and it's all about her. It's her girly little birthday. I love that vibe. And I love the aesthetics of the new one. Maybe even more than the original one, but I can't really say that because the original one is so classic and like signature in my mind, but I really do like the new one. She's very pretty. I think she's going to be the Draculaura doll that finally gets me to cave and buy a Draculaura. One of my friends only collects Draculauras. Like he has, well, not only, but he has like every single Draculaura that's come out, and I love that for him. The core refresh round 3 that just came out, with Draculaura with this pink, black, like with the very like split dye hair design. I think she's really pretty as well, and she's one that I've considered more than any of the other signature Draculauras from G3. However, something about the birthday one just kind of smashes them all out the water for me. I may consider getting that signature Draculaura from G3's 3rd refresh, but I don't know. I'm starting to get a lot of dolls from G3. I thought I would just have Laguna, and then Venus Flytrap came out and she was absolutely perfect. Like the hair, the sculpt of the face, the screening, everything is really gorgeous. And I love how with G3, Mattel is not giving them pixelated faces that they're giving to Barbie these days. I hate a pixelated face. I think it's cheap. They have better technology. They can afford to do better. And so I'm glad that thankfully Monster High is not coming out with pixelated faces. And the screenings also seem to be more even on Monster High than they used to be in G1. But I still feel a little bit risk when I buy Monster High. I pretty much buy my Monster High online, just because in stores, it takes ages for Monster High to reach stores in Australia. When there's like, for example, when I was wanting Jennifer, I waited like a year and she still wasn't in stores here in Australia. Well, I feel like it's been a year. It's been so long and she's still not in stores. I haven't seen her in stores any of the time that I've gone to Kmart, Target, all the places that sell Monster High. And so I just caved and I bought her online. But then there's that risk and I get really scared that am I going to get a good screening or not? Because I love being that person in store. When I bought my Laguna, I was comparing all the faces to make sure I got the best Laguna. It was such a wonderful day. I remember the day that I bought Laguna in store so clearly. I went around the city, all of Sydney's Monster High locations, everywhere that sells Monster High, trying to find G1's signature first release until I found Laguna, and I was over the moon when I found her. It was such an exciting day. They pulled her out from the back for me. And I was really down that day, so I felt like I was like holding back tears. And then when I finally had her in my hand, I was like, it was such like an emotional support doll at that time. Anyway, and I like the articulation too. I know this is like such an all over the place podcast, but whatever. You know, my podcasts are just going to be rants. Yeah, going back to buying them online, it's just that risk of getting like a good or a bad screening that's like, but I like that they've been coming out with good screenings. And I also would like to say that the pets from Monster High are not good screenings. They are all pixelated. All the pets that I have, they're like Pixel City, but what can you do? But yeah, I feel like Monster High is coming out with more and more G3 dolls that are appealing to me. The first rounds were not as appealing, and as they come out with more and more characters from G1 that I loved that are now in their G3 variants, I think that some of them are honestly getting stronger and stronger and stronger with each release. So I don't know if I would buy every single G1 character I have as a G3 release, but I don't know. Some of the G3 releases are getting really strong. None of the core girls though, which is kind of surprising. Like, I still don't have a Draculaura or a Claudine, and you'd think I'd have a Claudine by now at least. But anyway, yeah, I'm really vibing with the direction that G3 is going in terms of their design. I hope that they pare back the color schemes more, but I don't care if they don't anyway, because I think that it's fun to restyle them. I'm enjoying restyling and seeing other people restyle them. People are really creative. I love watching people restyle things on Instagram. The doll space is so exciting over there. The next thing I want to talk about is re-releases and new designs for G1. The re-releases are an absolute mess. I bought Cree Productions last year on Monster High's website, and I was stoked to have gotten them because it was such like a fight to get them on the website when they released. However, I was never sent the dolls and I was refunded instead. And that was common for a lot of Australian collectors. We bought the dolls when they released on the website, and then obviously they didn't have the stock to fulfill these orders. And so without this quantity, they just cancelled a bunch of Australian people's orders. I'm not sure if this was worldwide, but I'm in a lot of Australian Monster High collecting groups, and so many people felt this way. And so I was unable to get Cree Productions of the core 4 that I really, really wanted, because they'd already sold out in all the other places by the time that I was informed that I wouldn't be receiving my order, which was months and months and months after I'd place that order. So I guess I have to go on eBay one time and save a bunch of money and make a purchase on eBay. But it's just very, very annoying because I purchased them from the Monster High website at that time. I really think they should re-release the Cree Productions, but I don't know if they will at this point. They're kind of moving on to like re-releasing other dolls, such as like, you know, the Werecat twins and other stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to keep purchasing every single re-release. I think that they're coming out with maybe like Rochelle and Rebecca and Venus Flytrap in their next re-release, and it's just not going to happen for me. I already have those dolls out of box. I like them. I really, really like the packaging of G1 Monster High. And that's kind of the only reason I'd be buying them, is to appreciate them as they come in packaging. These would not be dolls that I unbox because I already have these dolls out of box. just from like buying them on like Facebook Marketplace and like different Facebook Monster High collector groups. But I just cannot bring myself to buy even more dolls to take up even more space just to have them in box, just to appreciate the artwork, just to appreciate the box design. It is really, really strong box design. I will say I love Monster High box design. It's probably one of my favorite like displays, and it's, I mean, this all comes back to Garrett Sander being a packaging designer first before he was a doll designer. But yeah, I just can't bring myself to keep going on this crew production line. The more they come out with, they're just going to release so many, and I'm just going to wait it out and get my OG girls and call it a day, because my three faves are Laguna, Claudine, and Dracula. So I should kind of stick to, you know, I want to be a little bit more selective. The more dolls you get, the more space it takes up. I'm trying to like not get too large for collection. So yeah, that's my thoughts on re-releases from G1 from the actual line. The collector dolls that they're coming out with from G1, I think are cool. So what I mean by that is like re-releases that, restyles and updated modern takes on Frankie, Dracula, Claudine from G1, such as the Ghoul Couture one. What was it called? Haunt Couture. That was a gorgeous line. I loved that. Out of my budget, out of my price range, but those were gorgeous. I love dolls like that. The Rooted Lashes, loved it. But I don't think that I can afford to collect dolls in that way. It's just a little bit out of my personal doll budget. I'm a Playline girl from the beginning, so it's a little bit too fancy for me. And some of these dolls that they come out with from these like more like designer or collector lines are a little bit too like, not okay, but like they're a little bit more fanciful than I prefer. I hope I'm using that word correctly. Like I was saying, I like a doll that looks like it would be a Playline doll on the shelf. And so some of these collector dolls are a little bit too whimsical for my preference. But I think that it's really cool, and I love watching them come out, and I appreciate it for other collectors. So I do enjoy that they're coming out with these dolls. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of lip balm because my lips are not as glossy at the moment. This is so used up. There's like nothing left. This is the Summer Fridays balm that I'm using, if you're wondering. And this is in the scent Vanilla Beige. I love this. It's like my favorite. It's the first one I got, and it's like a gorgeous color. Yum. Anyway. Yeah, I appreciate that they're coming out with reimagined variants of the G1 girls in new outfits, and I like that they're continuing the G1 story. However, I don't think I'm the person that's going to be buying them, but I really, really appreciate them. And who knows, maybe they come out with a line that would appeal to me in the future. So I like the direction that they're going with this. The other thing I want to say is I love the Skeletor dolls. I honestly only own one Skeletor doll currently. It's the creature from the Black Lagoon. I think that's what she's called. She's so like mermaid theme in my opinion. I just love an under the water theme, and like mermaids are my favorite, so that was an obvious choice for me. But just recently this week I purchased the Emily doll from The Corpse Bride, and I've actually dressed up as Emily from The Corpse Bride before. For Halloween a couple of years ago, and she's just like such a beautiful character. She's definitely easily my favorite Tim Burton character, unless I can think of someone else, but like I just think she's absolutely gorgeous. And I was excited to see her doll. She's probably the most interesting Skeletor doll that's come out like that ever, in my opinion, for myself. Obviously my name is Emily, and I feel like she's so me, so I'm a little bit biased, but I just think she's a really, really pretty character, and I do like the way that they came and designed her into a doll. I was stoked that I was able to get my hands on her, and I saw that my parcel has shipped, so any day now she's going to be in my hands, and I'm going to be over the moon. I love that the worm is like the earring. I do wish that with these Skeletor lines, so that they were doing a little bit more. I was going to appreciate and love the Emily doll regardless, just because I was excited for the screening. I think the screening and the sculpt is like most important, because with dolls you can always redress them, but if you're someone like me, I'm not repainting. I can re-root, I can redress, but I cannot create the physical molds of the items that come with the dolls, and I cannot repaint. These are the things that are difficult for me. So for that doll to come with like that face, I was like, immediately I was going to purchase her regardless. I will say, as much as I'm really fussy, and I always say I want to buy dolls where I like every single aspect, like screening, mold, outfit, hair, accessories, everything has to line up. I will say that with Emily, her outfit, I think they could have done it better. However, I do understand that within the price range that Monster High has been working with, Mattel is so cheap. I do realize that this is in line with the kind of quality that they've been coming out with the other Skeletor releases. I do wish that she'd come with, I saw someone online saying that they wish she came with a little bouquet. I do wish she'd come with a little bit more like of an accessory or a detail. I wish she'd come with like a dog from the movie or some butterflies, or I don't know, something from the movie that wasn't just the doll, because herself, the doll, because currently as she comes, she's just the doll with like some molded pieces, yes, and in my opinion, a pretty cheap fabric design. I like the wedding dress, but I just feel like they could have made it a little bit more ethereal. But, you know, she's kind of in line with the other quality that they've been coming out with for the other Skeletor dolls. It is what it is. But I'm really excited that they collaborated on that doll, because people have been asking for that doll for ages, and I hope they make more Skeletors going into the future. Even though they're not all marketed towards me, like other people enjoy the Skeletors I think more than I do, and I don't really like, I only have one other Skeletor at this stage. I don't think I'm a big Skeletor girl, but I do appreciate them for other people. I think that it's fun, that the concepts that come out with are really like cool and it's interesting, and I just want to see them to continue designing and innovating in that G3 kind of, G1 style. I love the G1 style the most, obviously, don't we all? The other thing I want to say, oh my gosh, actually, I want to get one shout out. You know how I was saying I kind of like a doll that looks like it'd be more playland? I do have one more like ethereal kind of collector doll from Monster High, and that is my my Draculaura Vampire Hearts doll. Oh my goodness, I paid an arm and a leg for her, and she's beautiful. I love her so much. Very, very beautiful doll. Probably the only kind of more out there Monster High doll that I would purchase of an original ghoul. Yeah, she's definitely a grail for me. I can't believe I have her. She's beautiful. What else do I want to say? Yeah, I feel like that's it. That's all I really have to say about Skeletor dolls. Ooh, let's put out some manifestations. So I was manifesting for a while that they would come out with Emily from the Corpse Bride, so I was absolutely over the moon when they did do it. Some other dolls that I wish they would collaborate with. I mean, obviously, Tim Burton's Corpse Bride is in like the Disney franchise or the Disney world at this stage, so I'd love for them to come out with more Disney adjacent characters. Mermaids, please. I want mermaids, even if they're gothic or dark variants of mermaids. I want Monster High mermaids, but in a Skeletor vibe. That would be really cool. Yeah, I just like some pretty mermaids from Monster High. Who else do I want? I'm not, honestly, as much as I love Monster High, it's like kind of ironic because I'm not actually that into like horror or like dark themes, which is probably a little bit funny, but I'd love for them to come out with like a siren, like a dark siren from like an iconic franchise or something like that, as a Skeletor doll. Yeah, something more mermaidy. I'd love for that as a Skeletor. Other than that, I'm not really going to dive into many of the Skeletors that they're going to come out with. I think that they're really nice. The Elvira doll, she's really gorgeous. The Wednesday dolls look really pretty that they're coming out with at the moment. I see those in stores sometimes, and I like the like, I don't know what it's called because I haven't watched Wednesday, but like the ball gown dress that she wears, I think that's really gorgeous too. And I think that Wednesday looks a lot like Jenna Ortega, but yeah, they just don't speak to me. I'm fussy in my dolls. I want everything to be like about them, and I'm just not as connected with Wednesday's series to purchase that doll. But yeah, I like where G1 and stuff is going, but Mattel, be more reliable, please, because I was very upset when my Cree Productions did not come. My next Monster High thing that I have my eye on, my next purchases will, from G3, I talked about it, it's going to be the Nephra dolls. Nephra doll, there's just one Nephra going to come my way. I'm not going to buy multiples. And potentially the Draculaura of the G3 third wave of the signature refresh, but most likely it's going to be the birthday doll before that. And then from G1, the Shadow Ghouls, aka the real drama dolls. Those black and white dolls are absolutely gorgeous. They're re-releasing them, I think it's the end of August, and I'm going to be on the website fighting. I don't actually think I'm going to get them though. I'm going to be so real because I wasn't successful with the Cree production dolls. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm going to try on the website. I'm going to put my money in. I'm going to try and buy them. I'll be on the website at that time and fight. I don't know if I'm going to be successful because it's just like they failed me once, and so I don't really trust Mattel in that way anymore. So yeah, I really want the real drama dolls, but I'm not sure if I'll actually get them. And I kind of want to get doubles. This is the thing. I really like the packaging of the real drama dolls, but I also want to have them out of box. So I'm not sure if they're going to be in or out of box dolls for me. In-box dolls also take up more space as well, which is another problem. But then if I get them in and out of box, yes, I'll be satisfied, but then it takes up so much space. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. That's all I really have to say about Mattel dolls. I guess this will be the Mattel doll podcast. The last thing I want to say is I think that the asset of Mattel is the designers. The designers that are coming up with these cool concepts are like the blood of Mattel, in my opinion. And with the recent things they've done with letting go of a bunch of designers and replacing a lot of designers with AI, I just think that it's going to take Barbie, predominantly Barbie, in a backwards direction. I think that they're going to be recycling a lot of things because AI just does that. And as much as I think AI is really cool and AI is the future and all that kind of stuff, in design, by taking away from human design, it doesn't become, yeah, it just detracts from the brand. And I think that it's cheap of Mattel. They have the money to pay designers and continue supporting artists, and by letting go of so many artists when they did is a really bad look for the company. And so that also makes me think about the future of Barbie. I hope that doesn't spill over into Monster High too much. So much of Monster High is from such like creative perspectives. And I can't imagine Monster High as an AI driven design. And I really hope they don't go in that direction with Monster High, because I think it would really detract from the brand. But you know, Mattel's a big corporation, so you really, you know, can't trust them, in my opinion. As much as I've raved on about how much I love all these dolls and the characters and stuff, I don't know. I heard that Mattel is thinking about getting, well, I don't know how real this is, but I've heard that Mattel might step away from being such like dolls and like focus more on like intellectual property, like with all their collaborations and stuff, selling Barbie as like an intellectual property to collaborate with other things, the way that like Care Bears and like, I don't know, Hello Kitty and stuff have been doing recently. I'm not sure what the future holds, but yeah, that's all I have to say in this podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. That's all the thoughts I have about Mattel dolls with Barbie and Monster High in 2025 with the upcoming dolls and stuff. There are some things that I'm excited about from Monster High, less so from Barbie. But I still would, you know, purchase Barbie for a child. My boyfriend has a niece who's very young, and you know, I'll get her Barbies and stuff, but from a collector standpoint, I don't think that they are doing incredible things at the moment. That, at least they're not appealing to me. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to see more from me, you can subscribe. You can find me everywhere at EmilyTeacher20. I mostly post here and on Instagram, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. If you want to see my doll stuff, you can find it on Flickr, and I pin doll things on Pinterest too. That's probably my more doll-centric platforms, but you can find doll stuff on Tumblr as well. Okay, bye.